Sometimes I wake up in the night and just look at him because I'm like, oh, he's still here. And will just feel so lucky, and then my brain will just go, wow, what's that gonna be like when I wake up and he can't be next to me?
What scares you most about the future?
A lot. I've played in my head what saying goodbye is gonna be like, which is that anticipation. What is that day-to-day gonna look like? What is that gonna look like for my boys who won't have a father figure around? How am I gonna get remarried to someone? That to me just seems so hard and scary. The future just feels altogether just so daunting and so lonely and unfair. I think about it every day. I think about it when I go to bed, when I wake up, when I look at my toddler, when I look at Dustin. I'm like, is this what this is gonna be like? He's not here. Everything revolves around that moment when that happens.
Sera Young,
Mm-hmm.
welcome to the Generational Health Podcast. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So before we get into this, I think maybe just a bit of background. I interviewed your husband, Dustin. How long ago was that now?
Oh, man. We were trying to figure this out.
Maybe 8 weeks ago?
I think longer because he's had 2 brain surgeries.
Since then?
Yes.
2?
Yes.
I only know of the one.
March and May.
Okay. It was after, when was it? It was after March.
February.
Was it February?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, anyway, after that interview with your husband, and we'll get into the whole story there. I actually had quite a few comments from people, direct messages asking if you would be willing to come on and tell your side of everything. It's a fragile topic. It's an emotional one. It's emotional for me. But I'm just grateful that you're here and that you're open and willing to talk to us about it and to go through really your journey as a wife and as a mom, navigating some really turbulent waters. So thank you for your willingness to come in.
Of course. Got to help.
Yeah. So I know you have a lot of people following you as well. And I think that, at least from what I've gathered, there's a lot of people that are dealing with loss. They're anticipating loss. They're dealing with various levels of trauma or just hard things. And they find a lot of inspiration through you and learning and trying to navigate a lot of these tough things. So I think we'll dive into that a little bit, just because I think it would be interesting to learn, what people are really asking you most about. But before we do, there's going to be people listening to this that didn't listen to the prior one with Dustin. So maybe let's just start from the beginning. So
Okay.
Tell us about yourself. Who are you? Who's Sera? Where are you from? And maybe up to when you guys met. Tell us your love story, and then get into some of those details of when things started to change. Some of the health news that you got. And I would love to hear it just from your perspective. Obviously I heard it from his, but I think a spouse's perspective is a little different. The way they see it, the way they view it, the feelings that come with it. So let's just start there. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. I'm from Mesa, raised there, not born there, but raised there almost my whole life. So I call that home. Went to Mountain View High School. Toros, yes.
Go Toros.
I met Dustin actually when I was a sophomore in high school. He was a senior. We were just friends. He left to go on his LDS mission, and I had continued with high school and never once wrote him. Nothing ever happened. And when I was a senior, Dustin came home. I think we started hanging out in November of my senior year. Again, actually, I was like a third wheel. He was supposed to hang out with my cousin, and I was just supposed to be nice and tagging along. And I fell asleep in the back of his car because I was like, this is sucky. I don't want to be a third wheel tonight. And he ended up texting me instead of my cousin about going on a date. And I was still a senior, so we went on a few dates, and it got serious really fast. In March of my senior year, he brought up marriage. So we started talking about that before I even graduated high school. And we got engaged by July, right after I graduated, and we're married by November of that year.
Nice.
It's a very quick Mormon way of life right there.
Yeah. He knew what he wanted.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Didn't even want to wait for me to graduate.
Yeah.
He was ready to go. So we've been together for almost 8 years now, I think. Yeah. And we have a son now. We had him, he's 2.5. And yeah, that was kind of, our life was pretty normal up until 2 years ago. Just normal things, the way life goes when you're young and married.
Normal newlyweds, going through school.
Yep.
Starting careers, the ups and downs that most people experience.
Yep.
Trying to figure each other out, trying to figure out marriage.
Yes.
That's its own battle, right?
Yeah.
So what happened 2 years ago?
So our son was about 6 months old, or almost 6 months old. And right around, I want to say when my son was about 2 months old, Dustin's just started experiencing headaches and just like agitation and stress and things that were just not normal for him. And it was just kind of weird. And I grew up having migraines, and my mom has chronic migraines. So I knew what that looked like. So I was trying to help him figure that out. It was, I think, a stressful time for work, stressful time being new parents. So I thought it was just that going on. Finally, I think it was like end of April, beginning of May, I was like, this is not normal. Something's wrong. You've had headaches like every day. They're not going away. No medication's working, nothing. So I told him he needed to go to the ER after a really bad day at work. I was like, you came home early, you never come home early. Let's go take you to the ER. ER did nothing. They gave him like the normal migraine cocktail and told him to live off Advil. And I was like, awesome, you guys suck. We'll figure this out ourselves then. So I went online and just started searching for a neurologist. It's like, let's just get you in with someone that's actually focuses on this. And couldn't get him in until June, I think. And at this point, he's been going on like 4 months of pain. So I was like, I'm getting you in as soon as possible. And as soon as he had it was like beginning of June. He went and saw him June, and the doctor was like, you're probably fine, but let's just get an MRI to be safe. Like, let's just figure this out and let's give you a headache medication and go from there. So July 2nd, he had a scheduled MRI, and we were supposed to go out of town that next day. I had a sick baby. I was at the pediatrician and I sent Dustin to his MRI thinking nothing's going to show up. Everything's fine. I'm driving home from the pediatrician. My son just had a virus. I was on the phone with my mom, just telling her like just normal mom complaints. Like, I have a sick baby. I have to go out of town. I have to pack. Dustin's at an MRI. I have so much to do. And I noticed I had a missed call from a random number, but they left a voicemail. So I clicked on it, and it was his neurologist texting me saying, hey, I need to get a hold of Dustin. Are you right now? Please, someone call me back. And I was like, that's weird. So I hang up on my mom, try to call Dustin. Dustin's texting me back saying, I'm on hold with my neurologist. They won't let me leave Simon Med. I was like, okay. I'm a little weirded out, but okay, sounds good. Just trying to be optimistic. And I get home, I grabbed a few things because I needed to run to, at the time I was working, to my job to drop some stuff off before I go out of town. And driving, and called my mom again because I was getting kind of anxious. So my mom was like, I'll just talk to you about random stuff just to get your mind off of it. And all of a sudden my phone rings and it's Dustin. And it had been a while, like an hour at this point, of me just kind of like waiting. And Dustin calls, and he's emotional, crying a little bit, trying to get the words out. And he's like, I have a tumor. I have to go straight to the ER. They don't know how I haven't had seizures or I'm in a coma. They're saying it's big. I need you to meet me there. And I just like locked up, and I'm driving. So I'm like, okay, I have a sick baby in the back. I'm not taking a sick baby to the ER, but I need to figure out how to get there. So I kind of like brushed him off, even though he was emotional, because I think I went to a state of shock and just was like, okay, let me figure this out. Hung up on him. And then I just instantly like burst into tears and tried to call his mom, because that was the closest person to me at the time when I was driving. Mom picks up and I'm sobbing uncontrollably, can't get the words out. She's like, you got to calm down and tell me what's going on. I'm like, Dustin says he has a big tumor. He's going to the ER. His brother's taking him. I don't know what to do. I have text in the back. He's sick. I can't take him to the ER. And so they're like, just we'll meet you at the house. We'll take text and drive you there. So they drive me there. I call my mom crying. My mom's up north like 2.5 hours. And she's like, well, crap, I need to get home. What's going on? She's trying to call my dad. So I have family to meet me. And somehow my dad beat me there and was waiting in the ER for Dustin. And my brother somehow got there too. I don't even know how that happened. And I show up and they take me straight back to Dustin, who was with his brother at the time. And the minute I come, the ER doc comes in because he was waiting for me. And he just kept repeating, like, I'm so sorry, like 20 times. And so I was like still in a very state of shock. I was not crying at this point. I was just kind of like sitting there. He would come up and touch Dustin's arm and just be like, I'm so sorry, like making it sound like he was literally dying at like that moment. Yeah. And then he goes, let me see if I can get this MRI pulled up. And he pulls it up and there's just a massive white spot, which is how tumors show up. And he's like, this thing is measuring over 7 centimeters. Like this is a baseball in his head. And I'm just kind of like nodding. His mom is in there. His mom's starting to cry. Dustin's just like, cool. Just very stoic as always. And he walks out and says, sorry, like for the 300th time. And I was like, okay. I looked at Dustin. I go, I'm going to go get your family because they said you can all come in here and we're just going to go from there. And I think I quickly just like walked through the hallway and I looked around and I was just like, where is his family? I see some right there. I'm like, you guys can go back, tell the lady you guys can go back. They're saying all visitors are welcome. I see my dad outside on the phone. So I walk outside and the minute I see him, I fully collapsed onto the ground, full blown panic attack. Like just emotions took over me and just started uncontrollably sobbing. My dad literally had to hold me up because I just kept, my knees went out. And he was just like, it's going to be okay. And I was like, you were not in there. You did not see how big it was. The doctors keep saying he's sorry. I have a 6-month baby that my husband needs to see grow up. Like I just kept repeating those 3 things. And my dad just sat there and just rubbed my back. He's like, well, we're going to get through this. It's okay. And we got to go be with Dustin. And finally got me to calm down enough, walk me through. I turn around and Dustin's whole family is in the hospital waiting area just watching this all happen. They're all crying, but I was just like, oh, wow, I was really out of it. And we go back and talk to a neurosurgeon and get all that set up. And that led to a surgery just 2 weeks later. And they diagnosed him like a week after the surgery with brain cancer, stage 4 or grade 4, depending on how people word it.
How rare is this type of cancer for someone his age?
From what I understand, it's becoming way more common. It used to be more rare, but a lot of the community I've met, a lot of them are his age, and we're hearing more and more about it. It used to be more like in the 65 and older group, but there's so many more cases now than there used to be with like no known reason.
Just happens.
It just happens.
They're not drawing any conclusions why it's happening more in younger men?
No. They don't know. The brain cancer itself, they don't know what causes it. It's kind of like, they say it's like a bad luck draw in the cancer community because it's terminal and not very researched and not easy to like work with either.
So he had that initial brain surgery 2 weeks after all of this. Tell me about the surgery. How did it go? And how did that impact him after the brain surgery?
Brain surgery went good for brain surgery. He lost a big portion of his right frontal lobe, lost the whole tumor. The hard part with those tumors is they take what they can see and they leave cancer cells still there because they don't show up for them when they're cutting the brain or even in an MRI. So took what they saw, which is amazing. And his recovery was pretty good. He was pretty out of it for about a month with the first one. That was probably one of his harder surgeries. The biggest change we had noticed that was like continuous is agitation and almost like anxiety with like noises and sudden things that just would like startle him. So a peaceful house was kind of like our goal, which is hard to do with a small child in the home. But they said that can happen just with the right frontal lobe sometimes, that it just makes them a little more sensitive to everything. And that was kind of our biggest thing. But otherwise, like his movement, his speech, everything else was going really well. There was no deficits of any kind.
And did he have to be on long-term like chemo or medications during this time to try to keep cancer cells at bay after the surgeries?
After the surgery, yes. So they do a year of chemo. It's an oral chemo. It's not through IV port or anything. He did a year of it. They call it 523. You do it for 5 days, off 23 days. So it's a cycle every month. And he just did that. And he was on a steroid for like the beginning part, but weaned off that great. So a whole year of just chemo and Zofran to help with nausea. Mm-hmm. It was pretty straightforward and pretty easy.
How did your lives change after that initial, going from now, like you have this new diagnosis, surgery, and now you're looking ahead. You've got a small, how old was Tex at the time?
6 months.
6 months old. So you got a 6-month-old. Now, like, what does your life planning look like? Now you're looking at this. He's got still as a provider, he's working, paying the bills, doing all the things. But what kind of shifts did you all have to make in kind of your life and just general planning and how things operated?
Basically, future planning just went out the window for us. We were taking everything. We always, when people ask, like, what's your plan? We're like, we just take it day by day, basically. Like, if we survived one day, we can survive the next day. And that's kind of how we lived that whole year, pretty much, because it was the only way I think we mentally could at the time. We just didn't know if the chemo would work. We had a young baby that like took up a lot of our attention at the time, because children are a lot of work. So we were just like, we like normal young people. Let's buy a house. Let's rent, or let's like build our careers. All of that just was like, we don't care anymore. Let's just make sure we can get day by day and figure this out.
Did the doctors set any expectations for you guys after the surgery?
Surgeon did. Oncologists are great because they're way more optimistic, as they should be. Surgeons are more straightforward. Surgeon told us most people have a reoccurrence 12 to 18 months after, which did happen for us, where our oncologist is like, I know people that have lived years and I know people that don't. So that's kind of how she worded things. She didn't give us any expectations. She was just like, live like normal, try to have normal lives, and hope that you're one of the lucky ones, basically. Or a surgeon was more like, here's what happens, clinically I see. So we kind of got both sides of things.
And how did you feel?
It's hard. Dustin is way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, more like on the surgeon side, just very straightforward. He likes things like that. And I just decided, after everything he's been through, I'm just going to follow what he wanted and be his like voice in that way. So I was like, I will have the same expectations as you. I will support you. If you feel like you're not going to be one of the lucky ones that lives 5 to 10 years, then I guess I will be the same. And that's kind of how I did it, which I think rubbed people the wrong way, because everyone wants to be hopeful. But with the diagnosis, it just felt almost better for both of us to be like honest with ourselves. Like, if we make it longer than 12 to 18 months, amazing. That's like a blessing in itself. But being too optimistic of like the 5 to 10 years just seemed like almost too much for us. Like, heartbreak would happen even bigger.
It's kind of an interesting, one of my friends posted something today. It's a counselor, and asked the question about, dealing with grief for someone that had already passed, someone that they lost, I can't remember. There were a couple categories that she was asking about. And I responded by saying more like the grief that I feel are people that I expect will pass, you know?
Yeah.
And you're in a really unique, weird situation too, because there's a word for it. It's like, what is it? It's like anticipatory loss or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because that's something I think that there are a lot of people that experience this, but it's a dynamic that if you haven't, it's probably hard to understand.
Yeah, it is. Basically, I would say it affects more like the cancer community or someone with like a terminal diagnosis of some kind or chronic illness that they just know eventually that's going to take them. You basically start the grief process before they're actually gone. Like all the feelings that people go through with grief start before, and you start planning almost. Like your brain has to anticipate what's going to happen. So like you feel like the stress and need to make sure he has his funeral planned and make sure he leaves some like legacy behind for your kids, and like make sure you ask all the questions and have all the conversations, everything, which makes the grief even more amplified because you're talking about some really hard things that are heartbreaking. But it's your way of your brain dealing with what you're going through and trying to like let yourself grieve. Like after his diagnosis in July and after his surgery, I had a day where I spent the entire time just sobbing uncontrollably, like could not stop because I just felt so much grief out of nowhere and I had no control over it. And nothing was like working. Like he tried to calm me down. My mom called me and tried to calm me down. It was just like, I'm just experiencing grief even though he's right next to me. And that's like the only explanation I can like really give for it is you're just experiencing it with them alive.
I'll circle back to that thought actually, because it just made me think of something. But so I interviewed Dustin, I guess back in February. It probably took weeks to come out because we did do a bunch of recordings around that time, and I think it was delayed coming out, which is probably why I'm thinking it was later than that. But I had reached out to you to come do this because I mentioned that I had some people like comment and say, hey, would she be willing to come on and tell her side and all that? And we had a date to do this. And then things kind of turned really quickly around that time, and we had to cancel. But I wanted to read this. This is something that you posted.
Okay.
We are here again with bad news. It feels never ending at this point, and we are broken. Dustin's tumor is back already. He is currently in surgery, but this tumor will not be able to be fully removed. It's invading parts of Dustin's brain that make him who he is, so it's not safe to remove, and we don't want to lose those parts of him yet. We are praying surgery goes well and that Dustin recovers with 0 complications. However, we were given the heartbreaking news today that Dustin likely has months left. This tumor is behaving in a very aggressive way. So surgery, along with the aggressive treatment, is being done in hopes that Dustin will have enough time to meet our special boy coming in September. I don't have many words right now. I've just been praying that Dustin will be here to meet his son and have that special moment with us. Any extra time after that would be a miracle and a blessing. If you can keep Dustin in your prayers for peace, for strength, and for healthy recovery, we would deeply appreciate it. We love each and every one of you who has been praying with us over the past 2 years. So, you have a baby on the way. And I did talk to Dustin about that a little bit, but man, this one just brought tears to my eyes because, I'm a dad too, and trying to put myself in your shoes, it's tough. But this just kind of crept up pretty fast. So tell me a little bit about this post.
So for backstory, but Dustin had a reoccurrence in March of this year, and it was big. It was the size, I think they said, of a golf ball. And so that's decent size. And really, it came out of nowhere. We had just rung his like finishing chemo bell in November, had a scan in January that showed maybe something small happening to his brain, but it was like a dot, like so small. So that crept up on us. He had surgery. They pulled it out. They had to delay chemo because Dustin was having health issues. We spent like 3 days in the like neuro floor at the hospital in between that. So everything got delayed. And by the 6-week mark post that surgery in March, it had come back already and was big again. The difference was instead of like a cluster, it was a diffused tumor, which just means it was like all over the place. Like they can't measure it. They can't tell you like, oh, it's the size of this and that. Like they're just like, it's covering a big area and it's not small. So in just 6 weeks from having surgery, it came back. So for me, I sent that post. I had waited. Dustin had been in the ER at that point a few days and was up in the ICU floor waiting for surgery. And that was surgery day when I posted that. And I had like just needed to type out my feelings. And that's wasn't actually planned to be the caption of that. I was worded a little differently. I changed it to make it more of a caption of just what I would wanted to send out to family while he was in surgery. And a lot of the thoughts in those like 6 weeks from the first surgery to the second surgery was a lot of guilt almost of being pregnant, doing IVF and kind of having a baby, and the fear that Dustin won't have that opportunity to meet that baby now because it felt even more real that it came back so fast. And after getting so much like bad news after bad news, like he had his first reoccurrence, like, okay, that's a big like thing to go through, but then to have a third and just like nothing seeming to go our way, I just like I said at the beginning, just felt entirely broken inside. Like, what cards are we being handed? Like, this should be the happiest time of our life. We're having another baby. We're growing our family. Things were fine. Things were going okay. And this happens. I was, I think, like 12 weeks pregnant in March when the first one came back. Like, we didn't even get time to enjoy this pregnancy, pretty much, because the first trimester sucks. So I was just typing that out to family, and I just was like, this, I feel like this needs to actually go out to everyone. Like, he's in surgery. This is literally our second time in 6 weeks. Like, I just need to feel almost like lifted by others in like a therapy sense. Like, I just want to feel comfort because I just felt so lost inside. Like, I was sitting in the surgery waiting room and I like could barely talk. Like, his whole family is chit-chatting and I was just out of it. I was just like, I have a toddler being watched by family that should be my job. I'm pregnant with a baby that may not get to even have memories of his dad, which seems unfair. And Dustin has to go through something so painful. Brain surgery is so intense and so painful. And I just felt like I failed like at that moment. And so I just put that out there because I was like, I just need like lifted. If anyone could just even like thoughts, prayers, anything at that moment, just so that I could survive those few hours of waiting of surgery, that would maybe help me feel even something at that point, because I just felt emptiness, like totally lost and broken at that point. And that's why I ended up posting that mid-surgery.
How have people shown up for you in a way that's been the most positive and the best impact for you going through all this?
Oh man, so many ways. Having a toddler at home, like that's always a mom's like number one priority. So many of our family has just shown up by just taking him and making sure he's taken care of. They'll send me pictures and make sure they're doing the things like I would want done to take off that stress, because it's so hard knowing like I'm here, but I'm not here. Like, I have to be with Dustin right now, but my toddler doesn't understand what's going on, and he's away and like mom's just, he wakes up in the morning, mom's just gone for days. Like in my heart, that just breaks me. So that family comes and shows up and tries to be that figure for him and make sure I know that he's okay and sends pictures and stuff. And then just like after this past surgery, just family just showing up for Dustin, like just coming and hanging out with him and being with him, helping me caregive, because it's a lot of work to take care of someone post-surgery and have a toddler at home. So having family there to help me with cooking and cleaning. And we just moved in with our brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and they've fully taken over everything. Like my job at this point feels like running Dustin appointments and spending time with my toddler and spending time with Dustin, which I haven't been able to do in the last 2 years. I've been just constantly doing 1,000 things, and it's shown because I've like all of a sudden felt this weight lifted and like this exhaustion kick in where I'm like, oh, I can rest. So it's just like things like that have been like life-changing for us. And my parents, we plan to move with them, or like building a legit apartment for us to live in so that they can help me and have us like our own place at the same time away from family, but they're just right downstairs where I can be with them. But things like that, meals, DoorDash, or GoFundMe, like there's like too many things I can name that people done. They've come and cleaned my house. They've like paid for groceries. Like the list is endless at this point. Like I can't even like thank or pay it forward to everyone with everything they have done over the past 2 years.
I think sometimes with loss, I was actually talking to my neighbor about this. She lost her husband to cancer this last year. And sometimes I feel bad too, because, it's like you want to be there for someone that has gone through that, but sometimes it's awkward too, because you don't want to overstep as a friend or as a neighbor or even as a family member. You don't really know how to approach the topic. And sometimes I think the worst thing, and I even told her this, I said, I feel so stupid when I say, hey, just let me know if you need anything. She's never going to let me know if she needs anything.
Yeah.
So like for those people that want to help, but they know you're not going to come ask, like for people that are going through stuff like this, I think you named off a bunch of things there, but I would say like, what would you say are the big like do's? Like, please do this for those people in your life that are struggling with this. Not necessarily you, but like other people that are in your shoes.
Yeah.
Like what advice would you give to their people to do? And then what are some maybe the avoid doing certain things?
Yeah.
Because I think it is like it's tricky because everyone has emotions. Everyone's like trying to work around it. I'm sure your own family has different ways of coping with,
for sure,
with like these traumatic situations about someone they love dearly. So what would you say are kind of the big do's, and then the things that I don't want to say don'ts, but because people have good hearts and they're generally meaning to do the right thing, but maybe things that you would say avoid doing.
For don'ts, I'll just do those first. Cause like you said, I know when people are messaging me or trying to talk to me, they come from a really good place. So I usually will reply kindly, or if I'm just not in the headspace, I probably won't reply. And it's nothing against them. It's just a lot. But the biggest one is probably like, what can I do for you? Or let me know. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like most people that are caregivers aren't going to do that. They're just going to say, okay, and never say anything to you. It's like the biggest like no, I think, in like the caregiving realm. Another one is for don'ts. We get a lot, and I know it comes from a good place, but we get a lot of people trying to recommend treatments and medications and things. I saw this and I saw this. I've seen it all. Like every time they send me something, most of the time I've seen it. Like it's very rare that I haven't. And I do a ton of research, and I know it comes from a good place, but a lot of time I already know, like I've already talked to the doctor about this. This doesn't work. Or I've already read a huge study on this and it's been proven it doesn't work. Like ivermectin is very big. I've read a huge study, like it doesn't work for brain cancer. It works great for some other cancers, which is awesome, but brain cancer, it just doesn't work for. Those things kind of like are just like, you don't know what to say. Like, okay, thanks, but it's actually not helpful. I promise you, I've already done it. And it comes from a good place. Those are probably my biggest two that I'm like, please don't do. The last one, which is just maybe a me thing, it might be other people, is a lot of times strangers or people I don't know super well will want to do stuff. And it's like, let me come into your home and do this and that. And, or can I stop by and bring you something? And I have to answer the door. I'm usually not in the headspace, especially right after your surgery or any hard news, to talk to strangers anyways. I'm barely in the headspace to talk to family. So for me, it's like hard to be like, yes, come, please knock on my door and do this. It comes from an amazing place. But if they were to be like, hey, I'm going to drop off something at your door and we'll be here at this time, honestly, that goes like a million times better. And I remember that just as much than the person that's maybe asked a few times, like, can I come inside your home and clean your home or watch your toddler? And I'm like, I don't know you. Like, no harm done. I know you're probably a great person. I just don't know you. And I'm not in the space for it. Those are probably my top three that I'm like, people are being so kind, but like, just don't do those for us personally. And I would assume other people too in the same community as us. Do's, like I said, I feel like our biggest do is with friends and family is not being so awkward with the hard conversations or the deep conversations, which seems weird. If you know someone's terminal and not going to be around forever, it's hard to keep relationships with people that can't do that. Like they want to avoid. Avoidance is their way of handling it. And it's nothing on them. It's just them basically going through their own like grief of knowing that's going to happen. But it doesn't sit like with us. We are having those conversations all the time and we want other people to have genuine conversations and we want genuine relationships at that time. And that honestly helps us a ton. Like it helps us move forward. It helps us get out of our grief. It helps us know we have community. It's a way to like create relationships with people. So for us, that's like a big do. Like just have and not treat it like it's so weird and awkward. Like we've been places in public and people can't even like sometimes make eye contact with us because they know what we're going through. So it makes us feel awkward or they don't know what to say. And that's sometimes fine. Like if you're just like, I don't know what to say, but I'm sorry, that's totally fine. That's different. But if it's people that literally just can't do it, so they just totally avoid it altogether, is when it's like, okay, like this relationship's not going to last. Because for us, we want right now genuine relationships and genuine friendships and spending time with family and feeling like we can talk about the hard things and vent and tell you what's going on and not feel like you're just going to sit there and like nod or change the subject or whatever. I think that's like our biggest one right now, just because it helps us feel more connected with people. But other things, family-wise, like showing up for us in like service ways are great. Like I said, knocking, if you don't know someone, leaving something at the door is totally fine. If you do know them, I probably will answer you and say you can come in because it's different. But we've had people just like, after Dustin's surgery, my birthday was in like September, and I had a random girl just randomly one day drop off a drink in like a little goodie bag. And it was like a week after my birthday. I was actually having a really hard day that day. And she was just like, I was just thinking of you. I know you just had a birthday. Left something at your door. That was like the best. Like I still remember that. And that was 2 years ago almost. So things like that, donations are like an easy way, which I know right now with economy and stuff, some people can't do that. But that's helped us live for the past 2 years because Dustin hasn't been able to work as much and I've been stay at home, which I could easily get a job, but we've been trying to prioritize family right now. And I just think anything service-wise is like the best thing you can do without saying, what can I do for you? You just do it and go from there.
You say you could easily get a job.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think you're going to regret not working right now. So I hope those donations keep coming in and give you all the time you need.
Yeah.
No, those were really good because it is weird for someone that's, confronted with someone who just maybe lost somebody, it's hard because you like don't know what to say. And sometimes you don't know if I'm as close to them as I think I am. Like you even like there's that, like, I don't even know you, but you want to come in. I might think I'm actually close. I don't know, but it is kind of one of these weird things with humans where we're like, we want to help. We have good hearts. We want to serve. But sometimes we're too lackadaisical about it and just say, what can I do? And that's the stupidest question. And I hate it when I do that. And I catch myself doing it. Sometimes I just need to go do the thing. I just need to go mow the lawn, or I just need to go, take out their garbage or whatever it is, but I think those are important things to bring up, because I'm sure, there's a lot of people in your life, in your neighborhood, your friends, extended friends, family that are trying to do lots of different things to prop you guys up and help you. And so it's just good to know like what works and what doesn't. And what can be kind of annoying and what doesn't. I think you brought up some really good ones that, like I'm sure. So we have family members that have gone through certain things, kids that have had cancer, all the treatments, and I'm sure they just got bombarded by everybody. Have you sending them probably like Instagram things of like this weird holistic treatment that cured this person or that, just constant bombardment of like the smartest people in the world are reaching out to you with the best path forward.
Yeah.
There's no best path forward here. I'm sure, especially when you're talking about the brain. The brain's a big mystery. And that's why these cancers are so dangerous, because even neurologists, my mom just went through a pretty massive situation in October. It's neurological. It happened in her brain. And neurologists that have been in neurology for years are still like scraping the surface of what they know about the brain. It's a very complicated system in the brain. Yeah. Regenerating it, fixing it, healing it. They don't know much. And, they're trying to get there, but it is I don't know. It's one of those things. Anyway, I think it's just good that you brought that up. I think it's good to know, like, for people that are going through this, like, don't bombard them with stuff, and I think we do have a lot of like protective, maybe overprotective people in our lives. Yes. And they're well-meaning, but sometimes it can just come off the wrong way. And then I'm assuming you probably find yourself avoiding certain people, and you're like, I don't know. I think just sticking to the things that work, and that is serving, loving, praying, Yeah. Certainly not coming inside like your private space. I think that's for you, it's probably incredibly sacred being in your home. Yeah. And not having strangers come hang out, I've only felt that like a tiny bit after having kids. People are so awesome. They want to come over and like help and give you stuff, but they also want to come in and hang out, and you're just kind of like, oh, like you're just, yep. You it's like your castle, and it's like your private sacred place. And sometimes there's a time and a place for that. And that can be difficult. And I'm sure it's hard for you to say no, because people are trying to be nice, but I think it's good for people generally to know like the do's and don'ts. So a couple things that I was thinking through, because honestly, like anticipating this conversation, I didn't really prepare for it. I mean, obviously I know Dustin, I know your family, and I already kind of have some background knowledge on it, but I didn't really anticipate, okay, what am I going to talk about? Like, because this is kind of one of those conversations it's difficult. It's a difficult conversation. But I did go through some of your posts and things because I thought it could spark some interesting conversation with us. And maybe you can just, I'm thinking through, like, you have a lot of people that follow you. They're following the story. I would bet that most of them are following because they can relate to the situation that you're in. For sure. And I'm sure you get lots of questions, and maybe some of your posts come from the questions that you get. But I thought a couple of these posts, maybe you can just respond to them and give a little bit more context as to why you said them. Okay. Because I think it might help, because I think a lot of this for me is, okay, like hopefully there aren't very many of us that have to go through what you and Dustin are going through. I mean, there are a lot of people, but you're definitely a small group.
Yes, for sure.
But what can we learn from it? Right. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to extract, is like, okay, so you have something unique. Like you're going through something that is probably one of the hardest things a person can go through. So what perspective can you give us that might not be going through something hard right now, but to make sure that we're not wasting any of our time with our loved ones or anyone else or just our time while we're healthy, while we, you know what I'm saying? Like, because
Yes.
you don't know what you don't know. And like back when you were a newlywed, you probably had this vision of what yours and Dustin's life was going to be like until you were 90 years old.
Yep.
Or 100.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed really fast, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what sparked this idea was with this post. You made a post about cancer, like having terminal cancer in your 20s changes literally everything. Changes the way you love, changes the way you parent, think, pray, and even spend your time. So I'll go through these and then maybe you can just provide clarity on what that means. Yeah. Okay. So this is something that changed for you. Family time is everything. It's our number one priority. Never take that for granted.
I feel like most people will understand that, even if you've never gone through what we've gone through or even his trauma in itself. Just when something like this happens, you just realize everything else doesn't matter but your family. Like your little unit is everything. And I've met a lot of people in the community that have also lost, and they talk about like all the things they wish for with the person they love, all the things that they miss about the person they loved. And it just kind of gave me perspective with having Dustin still here. Like, okay, this is our little unit is all that matters, and making sure I have no regrets with spending my time with him, no regrets with how our relationship's being, and making sure it's still growing, even though we're going through something so incredibly hard. That part of our lives is still moving and growing and being a happy place. Like we still want to be together. It's not tearing us apart, and keeping relationships strong. That's kind of what I meant with that, which I think most people would understand.
I think most people understand it, but I also think we take time for granted.
Yeah.
And then we take family time for granted. Dustin and I talked about this in his episode, but as providers, we get really distracted trying to provide at the expense of our family time, right? There's trade-offs to everything we do. If I want to go grow a company, there's going to be a tax on my time that's going to take away from something else that's important to me. And sometimes we sacrifice for time so that we can maybe open up free time later. But these are worldly things that can be incredibly distracting. And that's a big lesson I take away from these types of moments is that, like you never take those moments of just hanging out and playing cards on the floor or having dinner together. I mean, my gosh, like just sitting around a dinner table, having a conversation, and remembering the conversation and laughing, like never take those moments for granted, like have them as often as you can. Because there are so many distractions to that. And, not just from a provider standpoint, but I'm sure from, moms and women as well. Like there's just so many things that can take us away from the things that matter most to us. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
All right. The next one was lasting memories need documenting. You want to make sure you can come back to these memories to help remember the feelings of joy.
That
with a picture of you on vacation.
Yeah, with a picture of you on vacation. That not a call Dustin out, but Dustin hates pictures. My toddler hates pictures. I have lots of family members that hate pictures. They moan and groan about it. But over the past 2 years, I realized I have gone back and looked through so many photos. And I'm just like, oh, I remember this. This was happy. This was like a good moment. And some of it's just even just in our home, like Dustin with Tex on the couch and they're watching a show and they're cuddled up. Like there's simple life moments that I get to keep forever. And I can remember like how special and happy those were. And I feel like a lot of people like moan and groan about taking pictures because yes, it is annoying. Like every mom has been through that experience. Like I want a family photo while we're doing this. And every person in the family is like, no, I don't want that and stuff. And I just felt like after his diagnosis, I'm like, no, I'm taking every photo I can possibly have so I can have them forever, because memories fade. I've already like felt that, like the past 2 years feel like a blur. But if I have these photos, will like have flashbacks and memories of things. And it also just reminds me like there's still happiness in what we're going through. And it can be from traveling, or it can be from sitting at home, taking my child to the park, even just taking Dustin to doctor's appointments. I've taken, like, documented that, and just the moments in the car of us talking and bonding and having conversations. Like, I have that. And I don't think I'll ever regret that. And I don't think anyone at the end of the day actually regrets having all those pictures and documenting everything. I think it's actually needs to be done more, in my opinion. We have the ability to now with iPhones and all the internet. Cameras are coming back in. I feel like every person's now getting a digital camera. I'm like, we just need to start taking those around and snapping photos, even if it's just every day, not even family vacations, because then you have those special moments when things are hard to look back on. Be like, oh, I remember this. Like, I have, like, my poor toddler has maybe a million photos starting from birth till now. And Dustin's like, well, you have a million photos. And I'm like, but yeah, but I have so many memories now. Like, things that I forgot, like, oh, he used to do this, I now remember. And I think that can still apply to us as adults and with our older kids and things like that. It's like an easy way to keep memories alive when things are hard.
I love that. And I can relate to you on many levels there of my wife dealing with the same complaining. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for all of it. And video too.
Yes, video,
like,
for sure.
Video is one of those things that I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I had video of that moment. I wish I had video of my mom or my grandpa or, whoever. Yeah. Anyway, no, I think that's really important. Okay. Something that you realize now, dealing with terminal cancer in your 20s, you realize God doesn't always answer your prayers the way you want him to. And in some ways, you'll never get any answer to why.
I feel like I've just come to almost acceptance of that. It's a hard thing to kind of accept. We have done people pray for us often, but we've done countless fastings. We've done countless like group family prayers and just like almost like these hopeful religious things, and like literally getting on your knees and like begging, and then still not getting that outcome you want and never getting a reply back. Like, why is that? And I feel like a lot of people in the cancer community experience that, especially on the terminal side of things. Things just tend to not go the way you want, and it's hard, and you don't understand, and you want to just like rage and be like, someone tell me why this is happening. Like, is there somewhere more important he needs to be? Is there somewhere, like, am I missing something that he can't be with my family? Like, why we're doing these fasts and praying so hard? Why are we getting bad news immediately after? Like, why is this not working? And I feel like after these past 2 surgeries, it was an acceptance of it's just not meant to be that way, and I won't get to know why. I don't know if it's God's plan. I don't know if he has some predestination thing going on for him. I will never get to know that until I'm not probably here anymore. But I'm just going to have to be okay with that and have to keep moving forward and just know, like, fasting prayers are amazing still. They still bring comfort to you, and they still provide like angels in your life, but they're not maybe going to give you what you're asking for, which is a hard reality, but a hard truth I feel like we've experienced many of times now, unfortunately.
Do you believe that everything happens for a reason?
No. Dustin does, but I do not.
That's why I asked. I remember his response to that.
Yeah. That's like a complicated like answer too, because I've done a lot of searching for that, and I just don't believe good people don't deserve some of the bad things that happen to them, in my opinion. Even if they're meant to go do something amazing in heaven, I don't think they were meant to be taken away from me and my 2 boys. Like, that doesn't seem right in any way, in my opinion. Like, our God is loving, he's forgiving, and I don't think he would ever want to take my husband away from me. So I don't know if it's a worldly thing that causes things like this to happen, price we paid for being here and whatnot, but I know that he wasn't meant to, like, there's no reason for him to be taken away from us, in my opinion. There's no adequate reason.
Yeah. I've worked through this a lot myself. It's obviously kind of a spiritual question. And anyone that's experienced loss or anyone that's experienced, just heartbreak, trauma, I think most of us eventually ask ourselves, if that thing or this thing happened for a reason. And I think sometimes it's comforting to believe that. But I tend to lean a little bit more into the way you think. As a person of faith myself, I don't think it changes my faith at all. It just, in a way, I don't know. I just, I see guys like Dustin, to your point. I see children in these cancer sections of the hospital. They're perfect. They're innocent. And I've just personally come to feel and believe that crappy stuff just happens. And that's part of our experience on earth. It's part of our freedom on earth.
Yeah.
Because without, if there wasn't any bad, then you couldn't have any good. There has to be something to offset it. But I feel like the spiritual magic happens when, in these times that don't make any sense at all, that when we do turn inward towards God and we do turn towards him, that's when the miracles happen, or that's when we learn. That's when we learn, at least this is my personal experience, but that's when we learn the why. And you may not, like, to your point, you may not ever know exactly why. But I do think you learn a lot. I think God teaches us a lot if we choose to turn to him. I think there's a lot of people, maybe you've seen this in your community, that maybe get angry,
I went through it. Yeah. It's very normal.
I think that's probably incredibly normal. And I think that that's okay. I think you should be angry, right? But I think there's some people that choose to turn their back completely on, to your words, a loving Heavenly Father. Especially when it's hard to find any reason why this makes any sense. But just based off of, personal feelings and experiences, I've just kind of leaned into, crappy stuff just happens to really freaking good people. And it's sad and it's tragic and it sucks. But for some reason, there's always a silver lining somewhere. And it might not come for a long time, and it might come through one of your kids. I don't know. It might come through yourself. It might be something you learn about yourself along the way. It might be some situation you're in down the road. And because you've experienced this, you might help someone in a way you can't even imagine right now. I don't know. But that's God working through us is what I believe. And so I kind of tend to lean into your way of thinking on that a little bit more, but I still also appreciate and respect, like, that things could happen for a reason, I try to find it, but sometimes I'm just like, no, that little girl should never have had cancer. Like, God didn't want that to happen, know? But maybe there was something there. I don't know. We'll find out one day, right?
Yeah. I mean, just we'll never know. Unfortunately, I don't think here on earth, you just will learn, like, lessons, I think, that will either shape your life or shape someone else's and the way you help them grow. Mm-hmm. That's why I post on social media, is just because I know I can help through what I'm going through. And it's also helped me get out of that angry stage a lot faster than some people get to come out, or it'll come out the other end of like turning your back towards God. It's helped me turn more towards him. Just maybe it's different probably than it was before the diagnosis, but it's still a way that I feel like has helped both of us, I think, learn lessons and grow and help others too, all at the same time, which could just at the end of the day be the reason why we're going through something like this. But I don't think I'll ever get the answer on that. That's what I've just come to the conclusion of.
So if you don't think you'll ever get the answer to it, and you were angry with him, angry at the situation, how has God or turning towards him given you comfort?
When I was angry, I think anyone that's felt like the grief and anger portion is just, you just feel so lost, and you also feel so dark and cynical. Like I remember sitting in church right after his diagnosis and literally just filled with hate, almost like I'm sitting with all these families that have what seems to be normal lives. Mm-hmm. Their kids seem happy. They have healthy family members, and they don't have someone next to them with a terminal diagnosis. Then like a testimony meeting comes up and people talk about their trials, and you're just like, you don't know what a trial is. And that's like me being judgmental and cynical, because that might be something big to them. I just am probably going through something that's a little more unique and hard. And I honestly just got to a point of feeling tired of feeling like that. Like I was just feeling so much hate in my heart. And I was not praying. I was not attending church. I went almost a whole year of not going. Dustin would go by himself a lot. I would stay home with the toddler. My excuse was my toddler, even though it's just an excuse, really. And I finally just got to a point where I was like, I'm going to say my first like prayer in like a year and see if I get just even something. Because at this point, I'm like, I have never gotten any answers through all this. So it's just something to make me feel comfort. Or my prayer was like super simple. It was like, I just want to feel better. Like it doesn't have to involve Dustin. I just need to feel better. I need to feel comfort. I need to feel like I can keep moving forward throughout my day. Like I was just empty, like so depressed. I had every day, like I would spend crying, like at least once a day, panic attacks, and having to go see a psychologist to get medicated, and noticing I was like dissociating. I wasn't even showing up for my toddler and husband in any form. And so I finally just got to that point where it was like, something has to change, and decided just like, for me, praying is like a conversation. I'm not a big like get on your knees person. That's just always how I've been. Just having a conversation with God. And I was like, if there's any way you can just bring me like comfort or peace, or just one day where I'm happy. Like I'm just so tired of this like cynical hatred feeling in my heart. And didn't obviously get a reply right away. I think a week or two went by, and I decided just randomly to go to church with him one Sunday, and someone I don't know, just happened to get up and talk about like judgment and hatred and feeling cynical, and they weren't really going through anything like I was going through. And I was just like, almost like a light bulb went off. My toddler was behaving in church, which just never happened. So at that age, me and Dustin got to sit like the whole time in church, not having to go in the hallway. And I was just like, okay, I think this was like my answer. Like, I just need to show up and be here. And it was like simple, but like, and not a voice, nothing like I thought it would be. And it was just from then on that I just kind of was like, okay, I'll just show up, and it might look different than maybe Dustin wants or my family wants, but it's me trying. And that was kind of when the switch of turning to God started to happen. And it doesn't look maybe like the traditional way, but it's been kind of life-changing for, I think, even just our relationship of me turning, because through this whole process, Dustin's been very in tune with the Spirit and very, really, like, just really good with all that. And I've been the opposite. So I just saw like quick changes all of a sudden just happening overnight from doing that.
So for someone that's sitting in your shoes right now, dealing with something really similar, but just filled with anger, what would you say to them?
I would say that anger will come back. Sometimes it sneaks up on you, and that's okay. It's normal. I think the grieving process will last for years and years, unfortunately. It doesn't just go away, but it's a matter of not letting it overtake you and letting it turn you so far away towards everything in life that it rips your life apart and makes you someone that you're not. I think it just starts somewhere simple like I did, where it was just praying, or if it's just you're not religious, it's just like, I'm going to do something today that's going to make me happy. And I don't know what that would be for everyone, but it's a start. And I feel like eventually you can pull yourself out of that like trench of anger and grief at the end of the day.
No, that's good. I think sometimes being angry is exhausting too.
Yeah.
And I think some people, we get stuck in a rut of being angry about something that ultimately, if we can find a way to be happy, which I think is what God wants us to be, it's not as exhausting.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think you brought up something really good, is that it's going to come back.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm sure it just comes in waves. All right. So this next one, saying I love you is so important. Everyone needs to hear that at least once a day. It's a priority in our home, even on the hard days.
That comes from, I had a conversation with a friend that literally told me they're not married or anything, that they just like never heard the words I love you. And I like kind of deep dived that with them, and they were just like, yeah, I didn't really hear it from my parents. I didn't really hear it from siblings. I don't have a partner. So they go days without hearing it. And my like empathetic heart kind of like broke on the inside. And after Dustin's diagnosis, I decided I was going to like prioritize that. I feel like I love you has so much meaning for different people. Like some people it has a way more meaning. For some it's more simple. And I've decided I'm going to take the more simple route and just say I love you more, even to like people I'm not as close with. Because I just can't imagine someone never hearing that every single day, even strangers. And with Dustin being terminal, I just cannot imagine if something were to happen, like if a flip of a switch or something even worse would happen. If I didn't say I love you that day, like I think I would regret that, because it's dumb because I know he knows I love him, but I would want him to make sure he heard it every day. And I want my toddler to be able to hear it every day and know it's okay to just tell people like I love you. I think it can be a powerful little statement that can mean so much to people, especially in a day and age where I feel like a lot of people are dealing with hard things like traumas and depression and anxiety and things. Like they need to know they're loved. So I've been prioritizing that with just anyone and everyone. Even if they don't say it back, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, at least I know I said it and they know I said that and know that I love them. Then I did my job at the end of the day.
I think this one's also similar. Another one you said, holding hands, hugs, watching movies together, laying in bed. They become everything. Simple life moments with your partner are so special. Yeah.
I feel like that's just normal. Sometimes day to day, you get consumed. You get on your phone when you lay in bed, and all of a sudden your partner's asleep next to you because you scrolled for too long, or you'd go throughout a day without just a hug or holding hands, or you just avoid contact. I grew up in a home, not to bash my parents, but like physical contact just didn't happen. It was just not our family dynamic. And then I became a part of Dustin's family, and they're big huggers. And that was like a huge adjustment for me, but I realized I loved it. And I just realized how like good it made me feel. Like, oh, I feel so like it's like a simple way to feel love too. And so when Dustin was diagnosed, I was like, I have to make sure I at least give him a hug every day, or hold his hand, or physically just like touch him in some way. like rubbing his arm, even though I think sometimes he goes crazy because my love language has now become such physical touch. I'm just like, as long as I show you my comfort in that way, I feel like it's important. And I feel like too, at the end of the day, even if your love language or you don't love physical touch, someone does it, you still feel their love, even if it's like, oh, it's not my favorite thing, but you know, like the meaning behind it. Like, oh, okay, they love me. They gave me a hug. Or with your partner, like they're holding my hand, we're cuddling, all those things. They just have so much meaning and impact. And they also leave memories too. Like, oh, that was such a great day. We just sat and cuddled and watched a movie, which seems so like boring and day to day, but you don't honestly forget that, especially with things that we're going through. Like those are some of our favorite days right now, are just those quality time and special moments.
You push for memory making. We're leaving behind a legacy. Your boys will need their dad in some way, even if he won't be here on the earth side.
That apply, like photos, that's been my way of doing it. I've unfortunately probably pushed Justin too hard with like leaving videos for the boys or writing letters, and like memory boxes I've talked about doing with my boys so they can have stuff at Dustin's just specifically for them. I feel like everyone needs to do that. It's weird because it feels more important now that he's like terminal, but I don't know why that's not a priority for everyone, because you just don't know what the next day is going to bring. And I know I've met a lot of people that have lost with tragic loss and sudden loss, and they just don't have any of that, which is heartbreaking. And my boys are so young too, and this one's not even born yet. And I just know memories are not as strong at that age. And if Dustin doesn't make it till the points where memories stick more, they'll have at least something. Like, oh, I can watch this video of my dad, or, oh, I turned 18, my dad has a letter that he wrote me that I can read, or I'm getting married, or if I miss having my dad around or a father figure, they have a video they can just like look up and see their dad talking. I keep voicemails that Dustin leaves me. They're really funny, but they're his personality. And I'm just like, oh, if I miss him, I can just go on my phone and listen to his voice. Like, I think legacy making should be happening with everyone, not just with tragic or traumatic loss, but when you know it's happening, I feel like it has to happen, because my boys, myself, and everyone that loves him will want to remember his voice, want to remember who he is. And that's like the most simple way to do that, which is hard to do in your 20s because that just feels so sad and depressing, but it just like has to happen, in my opinion, so that the rest of us can survive a day without him around.
Well, this entire recording is yours. So, you can take this and hopefully be part of that.
Yeah.
What would you like, Tex? Do you have a name for baby boy number 2?
We are thinking Colt, but Dustin...
Is that okay to say? Or is the family going to freak out that you just said that?
It's okay to say.
Okay, let's say Tex and maybe Colt. What do you want them to know about their dad?
Oh, gosh. He has a very dry sense of humor that I hope one of them inherits, because it's hilarious. He's also very blunt. There's no sugarcoating, and he speaks his opinion. You asked Dustin his opinion, he will give it to you, even if it hurts your feelings. And a lot of people, I think, would think that's a negative, but it's been honestly a blessing in our marriage, because I'm more of a people pleaser and he's not, so it makes us work perfectly. And he is super like spiritually inclined. I cannot explain it. Like this whole 2 years, like he just always knows what's gonna happen, and it's like a gift he has, and he's always just like, I know this, and he's always right. And as hard as sometimes that is, it's amazing to watch him just have some special like gift of just being so present with our Savior that he can know what's happening, and it allows him to accept it so fast and be so strong. Through the past 2 years, Dustin still works, which is just crazy. He's missing literally his right frontal lobe, and he still keeps going. He's great at serving anyone and everyone. Even if he physically can't, he will still try, which drives me as a spouse and caregiver. Like, please don't do that. I really don't want you to wear yourself out, but it makes him feel better, and it just shows how much he loves people unconditionally and wants to show up for people even when he's going through so much. He honestly, like, we've been married 8 years, and I can say, like, we didn't have a single fight those first years up until he had his diagnosis. And the fights that we had after his diagnosis are just because I'm stubborn and want him to do things he doesn't want to do, or I'm just annoying him because I'm being overcautious and things like that. And they're just not, we've never been in a true fight that broke our relationship at the end of the day. I would want my boys to know, like, we had a very happy marriage up even during this diagnosis, but definitely in those first few years, we felt very lucky that we didn't go through like that first hard year that most people go through. I want the boys to know that Dustin loves them. Like, after his last surgery, Tex came up to our room. He hasn't seen Dustin since surgery, and Dustin just started sobbing. And Tex just came up and cuddled him and hugged him, which our toddler, he's 2, the 2-year-olds don't do that. But it just kind of like showed me, I took a picture of it because of course I have to take a picture of it, how much he loves his boys. Like, he would never want to be not there for his boys, and it's so hard because he's had to go through so many things that have taken him away from his boys, and in the future they will get probably lose out on us too. There's just endless things I could say about Dustin that are good qualities, and just how amazing of a person he is. Like, I think I could talk about it for hours, and I probably will for the rest of my life talk about him for hours, because that's just how amazing he is to me, and I think to so many others in his life as well.
What scares you most about the future?
A lot. I've like played in my head what saying goodbye is going to be like, which is that anticipation. That's hard to know what going through like life without him will be like. Like, I feel so lucky that I still have him here in the bed next to me at night. Like, sometimes I wake up in the night and just look at him because I'm like, oh, he's still here. And I will just feel so lucky. And then my brain will just go, wow, what's that going to be like when I wake up and he can't be next to me? What is that day to day going to look like? What is that going to look like for my boys who won't have a father figure around? How am I going to get remarried to someone? Like, that to me just seems so hard and scary, which I know time will kind of probably heal that, but and just at the end of the day, we don't also know what happens when we're gone, and we have hopes and things that we want to have happen, and things I put out that I'm like, I hope this happens for you, and I hope when the time comes I get to be reunited. But it's just scary because at the end of the day, no one knows. I've read like a few books of people that have like passed on and like come back to life, basically. I can't remember the book name right now, what's the book name? The one that Tommy recommended. The Message, which is a really good book that people going through loss should read. But I read through it and it was amazing, but it's just like, that's your experience, and it's hard to imagine that being my experience at the end of the day. So future just feels altogether just so daunting and so lonely and unfair that I could go on that subject forever, because I think about it every day. I think about it when I go to bed, and when I wake up, when I look at my toddler, when I look at Dustin, when he goes out of town. Like, I'm like, is this what this is gonna be like? He's not here. Like, everything revolves around that moment when that happens.
Love is a gift we take for granted. Grief is a gift because it means I had the gift to love so much. It will break pieces of me forever.
Yeah. Pretty much sums it up right there. But
grief is a tricky thing.
It sucks, honestly. And some people make it that haven't gone through grief sometimes assume like time will heal that. And I don't think it fully heals. I think it just is something that you have to learn to live with. And I think pieces of your heart will always just be lost with that person. And that's just the reality. But also, like, I wouldn't change anything. Like, if you were to rewind time to 18-year-old me meeting Dustin, I wouldn't change anything. I would absolutely want to still be with him and be loved by him and love him so much. And I think anyone that's experienced like partner loss will also agree that they feel the same way. Like, the loving part is easy, the grief is hard, but at the end of the day, they both sadly tie together, and they're both worth it for the people we love.
Well, thank you for being like seriously so vulnerable and sharing all this. Dustin's here. For those that didn't figure that out, but Dust, you married well, and like I know the future. I don't know. I would anticipate the future probably is scary, but everything I know of you just from here, but mostly what I've heard about you from others, is that it just gives me incredible confidence that you're gonna continue to be amazing. And one thing that I talked to Dustin about too is what a beautiful thing is that he gets to continue to live through your boys.
Yes.
You're gonna see a lot of him.
I already do, and my toddlers too. So.
Yeah, all those things you said, the stubborn, the the blunt, all that. You're gonna see these moments poke out, and all these memories are gonna flood. And that's what's gonna be so amazing. And anyway, you're awesome. You're doing incredible things. You're enduring the hardest of the hard, and I think the more you share it, the more you talk about it, I think you're just going to help a lot of people that are struggling to navigate this kind of stuff. Because this is life altering for a lot of people. It's just, it can completely just tear someone apart and put them into a dark place that they really struggle to pull themselves out of. And anyway, there's a light about you that I think is just amazing. And I think, you have a really good perspective on all this stuff. And your boys are so lucky to have you. And like I said, I've just got an insane amount of confidence in you as a mom and all the beauty that still is yet to come down the road. And you've got a ton of people praying for both you, Dustin, and your kids. I know a lot of them personally. And I just hope that, people listening to this will look at that anticipatory grief that you talked about early on, being like, hey, we're living in this moment of like, I'm grieving a loss, but they're still here scenario. And I wish that for myself that I could view that with everybody today. Everyone I love right now, I will lose at some point.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no way around that. That is a part of life.
We have a timeline. The rest of you don't.
You have a timeline. But some of us don't know the timeline either.
Yeah.
And it can be tomorrow, And so my challenge is going to be to really try to like not live in a constant state of grief, but try to pick up on all those things that you taught us, that you've learned, that became really more like top of mind of capturing all of life's most important moments and telling the people you love that you love them, and holding hands and kissing and hugging and all the things that really are most important. Don't wait, don't wait. Do it now. That's at least what I'm picking up from most of this. So anyway, I appreciate you sharing all this. Is there anything else that you would like to say? Anything you want to say to Dustin?
Love you. I heard you sniffling. Sorry. So that's about it.
No. Well, you're great. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're great. Keep sharing, and we'll all keep being there in any capacity you need us. I'm going to take some of those pointers and I'm not going to come clean your house in the middle of the day.
I appreciate it.
but I might send you a Diet Coke and a cookie. So
that works. That works.
No, you're amazing. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you for having me.